Hi, welcome. This video showcases selected techniques from the book entitled The 10-Minute Trainer, 150 Ways to Teach It Quick and Make It Stick. The technique I choose is signals. So here, we will know what this technique all about, its relevance to the learners, or what principle we can connect to this particular technique, as well as how this works. We can all remember a time in class when we hoped the teacher or professor wouldn't call on us. Our fear of saying the wrong thing and sounding silly in front of our classmates is a strong deterrent from raising our hands and volunteering to speak in front of others. In fact, when given the choice, most students choose to fly under the radar and avoid the embarrassment of speaking in front of their peers. This is unfortunate because class participation, while sometimes scary, is necessary for getting the most out of an education. Participation actively engages students with the subject matter, pushes them to create concepts, and forces them to show evidence for their claims. So to put simply, participation or engaging the learners in their learning process makes them work harder. Signals is part of the Get a Minute activities, where Get a Minute activities help learners review, repeat, and remember important information. So what does it really mean by signals? A signal is a hand or body motion or a choral response used by learners to answer a question or demonstrate their understanding of a concept. One of the most widely used signals trainers tell participants to use is raise your hand if, followed by a topic-related statement. But signals can be unusual sounds and motions too. They can also be learner-created. Signals involve all learners and add a kinesthetic element to a lecture. Moreover, signal is more interaction atmosphere where the learners engage themselves in participations such as answering a question or demonstrating what they understood on a particular topic or concept. Through this activity, the students will determine if they really understand the concept presented to them, and for the teacher as well, the participation of their students will give them feedbacks that when students answer or try to explain, teachers can see the extent of their understanding. They can correct or help the students correct what the students haven't got right or don't see quite clearly. What principles we can connect to signal? The principle that we can connect to signal is based on the learners remember more when they are involved in the learning. This principle tells us that learners will remember what is being taught to them if they engage themselves in the learning process through answering questions from their teacher or raising their questions or concerns related to the topic, and or they can demonstrate what they understand about a particular topic or concept. Engaging students in the learning process increases their attention and focus, motivates them to practice higher-level critical thinking skills, and promotes meaningful learning experiences. Instructors who adopt a student-centered approach to instruction increase opportunities for student engagement, which then helps everyone more successfully achieve the course's learning objectives. What does a signal do? Signals help you, the trainer, to first, check your learner's understanding of important material. Second, decide what, if anything, to reteach. Third, add a small degree of levity to your lecture. And the last is about involve your learners in your lecture without sacrificing time or informational flow. Signals also help the learners to, first, remain awake and involved in the lecture. Second, think about what they've heard. Third, make some opinion-based decisions about what they've learned. Fourth, interact with the new information in quick, low-risk ways. And the last is about stay focused on material being presented. Here are the 10 signals for this technique. Signal number 1. When I ask you a yes or no question, show me thumbs up for yes and thumbs down for no. Signal number 2. If you want me to repeat certain information, show me this sign. Circle your hand above your head and tell participants to do it with you. Signal number 3. When I make a statement related to the topic, Clap your hands if you agree with the statement and stomp your feet if you don't agree. Signal number 4. Take an index card and print in large letters, through on one side and false on the other side. When I make a statement related to what you have been learning, hold up the card with your answer facing me so that I can see whether you think the statement is true or false. Signal number 5. Stand up if you believe that this statement is a fact. Read a statement about what they have been learning. Give learners the answer and acknowledge those who were correct. Then direct the standing people to sit and do the signal again with another statement. Signal number 6. I am going to ask you a question about the material we've covered. Stand if you're pretty sure you can answer the question correctly. Remain seated if you're not sure, or if you want more time to think about it. Standing people, please share your answer with the seated people. Signal number 7. Let me hear a way cool if you agree. Let me hear a no way if you disagree. Signal number 8. Sound your noisemaker if you agree. Or sound your noisemaker if you think this is a good idea. Or sound your noisemaker if you have another idea to go along with what we've just talked about. Signal number 9. Write your answer to this question on a piece of paper. Wave your paper in the airs or show me that you've ready to read it to the group. And the last signal is, on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 means that you need more clarification about this concept. 5 means that you've got it and are ready to move on. Show me while holding up your fingers where you are on the 1 to 5 scale.
Hi everybody, this is Bambie, and now we're going to tackle all about another technique that would be correlated to one of the principles, specifically doodles with correlation to the principle. Shorter segments of instruction are better than longer ones. Before we proceed to the big concept, let us recall first what is a doodle. According to the dictionary.com, doodle is a verb which is to draw or scribble idly, or to waste time in aimless or foolish activity. However, in contrast to that, 10-minute trainer book defined doodle as a got a minute 60 a second activity which simply learners create images, icons, lines, shapes, drawings, cartoon, symbol, stick figures or logos to represent a topic-related fact or concept. Doodle can be referred to visual analog or a 60-second graphic or a topic icon for technology folks. According to Learning Deep Thought, from its article 4 Surprising Benefits of Doodling in the Classroom, it stated there that historically, teachers and parents have regarded doodling as an idle endeavor that detracts from the learning process. However, researchers have discovered that doodling can actually inspire creativity, engage students academically, and help hold their attention. Maybe dictionary.com is right if and only if doodling can be exercised in a wrong manner. I disagree with the definition as it's just a one-sided explication. In here, at some point, we have to prove that doodle is an effective way for the learning process of the students. So how doodles correlate to shorter segments of instruction are better than longer ones? As is stressed by Berkowitz and Myers from its article, Educational Dangers of Shrinking Attention Spans, the ability of the adults to remain present both in their role as learners and their role in the relationship with those learners in their classrooms is challenged. The shrinking attention span of the students is influenced by the manner in which information is shared in the world outside of school. With buzzing in pockets and peer pressure to be constantly connected and available, the distraction from the moment is increasing. The beep, even if it isn't yours, is like a magnet drawing you into the world calling from the smartphone. Student engagement has long been of concern to educators, and it is increasingly at risk. Concurring to that, Tutara said, what happens is that the student doesn't effectively learn and retain the material. Some psychologists claim that typical students' attention span is about 10 to 15 minutes long, yet most university classes last 50 to 90 minutes. It's natural for student attention levels to vary in that case. Hence, we need to change our methods for instruction to meet the television learning needs and the shorter attention spans of audiences. one of the specific tactics we could be employing in our instruction to keep students interested and alert, and that is through doodles. So here is a big concept. Given the fact that doodle is a 60-second activity which can be easily correlated to the principle of shorter segments of instruction is better than longer ones, creating images to represent concepts is one of the most powerful ways of moving information from short-term to long-term memory. With a doodle, learners enabled to work hard, begin to move learning into long-term memory, use both hemispheres of their thinking brain to learn, remember information longer, take a right brain, the visual-based, break from left brain, word-based material, have a little fun with the learning, thereby creating endorphin release of pleasure chemicals in the brain, access the power of visual image, represent the concepts in a more interesting, creative way, and deepen their understanding of the material with another medium. How are we going to do that? So there are 10 doodle ways for instruction, such as draw a doodle representing the most important thing you've just learned. Your doodle can be a line, a shape, or a squiggle, an icon or a card, and a symbol, or anything visual, and explain your doodle to the person sitting next to you. Another thing is that to draw a line that stands for one fact from the material we have covered. Your line can be a certain shape, a squiggle, the arrows of a flowchart, or a series of lines that go together in some way, and explain your line to the person in front or behind you. Another thing is to create a simple logo representing the topic. Explain your logo to your table group. Next is think of an image that will help you remember this fact. Draw a doodle of that image. And lastly, draw a picture that represents an important fact from the information we have just covered and show your drawing to your neighbor. See whether your neighbor can figure out what your picture represents without having to tell him. Let him know whether he got it right. Through shorter segments of instruction, by using the doodle technique, students may able to learn it effectively.
Hello everybody, and now we are going to tackle about the connections, correlation to the principle, learners remember more when they are involved in the learning. First, we need to define what is connection based from the source of dictionary.com. So connection is the act or state of connecting, the state of being connected, anything that connects, a connecting part, link or bond, association or relationship, a circle of friends or associates, or a member of such a circle, and association with or development of something observed, imagined, discussed, etc. And now based from, related to this matter, connections is a got a minute, 60-second activity which defines as an opening activity that helps learners focus on what they know or want to know while also introducing themselves to the other learners. They do this by talking to other learners. In short, there are opening activities that connect learners to each other, to what they already know about training topic and to what they want to learn. Connections versus icebreaker. A connection differs from an icebreaker, since the latter is usually social and not topic related, whereas the former always connects learners to the topic as well as to each other. When you use a connection as an opening activity, your learners do three important things. First, they connect to their own learning goals, that is, what they hope to get out of the training. Second, they connect to what they already know about the training topic so that they can link new learning to old. And third, they connect to the other learners and of course to you in order to form a learning community for the duration of the training.
So there are some articles that are introducing and revealing that connection is very essential when it comes about learning, specifically to gain more knowledge and to have a good understanding about a specific matter or subject. And now, how connections correlate, learners remember more when they are involved in the learning. So, the more collaboration, cooperation, and the more connection of the students, basically, they will learn and remember more. What does a connection do? With a connectivity activity, learners will form a safe learning community with the other learners in the room. remind themselves of their own personal learning goals, become aware of what they already know about the training topic, focus their energy on learning from the moment they enter the room, feel a sense of belonging as well as safety, relax into the learning experience, feel a shift of energy in the room from the quiet, passive feeling that most people have when sitting with a group of strangers to a higher energy, more open feeling experienced when sitting with new friends. Recognize that they are respected and honored by you and the other learners. And lastly, get a sense of positive expectation about the learning experience to come. And how to get ready. So there are 10 ways of connection, but let me remind you first that no special room setup is necessary and any size group is fine. So the first one is connection number 1. Quickly introduce yourself to someone seated near you and tell your new friend 2 things, what you want to learn today and 1 fact you already know about the training topic. Please make sure everyone around you has a partner. Triads are acceptable too. Connection number 2. Introduce yourself to the person in front or behind you and ask your new friend to tell you 3 things he already knows about the training topic. Connection number 3. The folks seated closest to you or at your table are your expert group for this training. Introduce yourself to them and tell them 1 thing you want to take away from this learning experience. Connection number 4. Quickly shake hands with 2 people near you and tell them 1 question you want answered during this training. Connection number 5. Stand and bow to 3 people standing close to you and ask them who they are and why they are here today. Connection number 6. Stand and form a small group with those around you. Share with your group what you want to learn today and what you already know about the topic. Connection number 7. Stand and find 1 person in the room whom you don't yet know and introduce yourself to this person and ask her what she wants to be able to do with what she learns today. Connection number 8. Take 30 seconds to shake hands and welcome as many people around you as you can. Then take 30 more seconds to tell 1 new friend 1 important fact you already know about today's topic. Connection number 9. Think of 3 things you already know about the topic and 1 thing you want to learn today. Introduce yourself to a person near you and tell this person what you thought for. Lastly, connection number 10. In the next 30 seconds, on an index card, write 1 personal goal for this training. That is what you want to walk away with, and write 1 fact you already know about the topic. Then take 30 seconds to share what you wrote with the person seated next to you. All in all, connection is very effective when it comes about in-group discussion, small group, or even by pair, because it gives more satisfaction to learn more and to have a good understanding about the topic.
Grab that spoon. Grab that spoon is an example of Take 5, 5 and 10-minute games that will help learners wrap it up, reinforce, apply, and practice what they have learned. Through this game, learners can apply and practice what they have learned during the discussion. So, what is Grab That Spoon? Grab That Spoon is a quick review game that lasts from 5 to 10 minutes. This game includes with a dash of friendly competition but is low risk enough that the competition doesn't take away from everyone's enjoyment of the game. It is a game in which everyone can participate regardless of the size of the whole class. The person who first grabs a plastic spoon gets to answer the question. The fastest person who can grab the spoon has the most chance of winning. Grab That Spoon game allows the learners sit in small groups and take turns asking each other questions for points or tokens. It is based on fundamental learning principles of the 21st century that states learners remember more when they are involved in the learning. In Grab That Spoon game, The learners can remember what is being taught to them by engaging themselves in this game in the learning process through answering each other questions. Aside from the fact that they can recall what they have learned, it will also be easy for them to remember it. By engaging the learners or the participants, it will help them remain alert and keep their minds involved and their bodies energized. Through active participation, it gives learners time to more higher order thinking skills such as categorization, application, judgment, problem solving, evaluation, synthesis, as well as simple memorization of important facts, and it will deepen their conceptual understanding and begin to apply the information into real life. So, what does Grab That Spoon do? Grab That Spoon is a high energy way to review material quickly and easily, add friendly competition to the review, allow learners to generate the review questions, include physical action in a seated learning activity, give learners time to discuss their own understanding of the training concepts, and take a topic related, competitive break from the lecture. Take a stand. Take a stand is also an example of take 5 and 10-minute games that will help learners reinforce, apply, and practice what they have learned. Take a stand is where the learners apply and practice any new skills that they have learned. It is based on the fundamental learning principles of the 21st century in which learners remember more when they are involved in the learning. Take a stand encourage learners to use their high-order thinking skills to discuss their own perceptions and opinions. Learners will have a deeper understanding on what they have learned by discussing and sharing their opinions to the others. This take a stand is always done in the classroom where the teacher or instructor gives the students the opportunity to share their own understanding about the topic given. This game take a stand is like having a debate. The instructor will come up with an appropriate question. It should be a binary question where learners or the participants can answer in one of two ways. For example, should students wear uniforms to school? This question is a binary question that can be answerable by yes or no. After giving the question, participants will line up so that those who answered yes are on one team and stand on the other side of the room, while those who answered no are on the other team and the other side of the room. And for those learners who are unsure or need more information, should stand in the middle of the room, and they should stand closer to one end or the other if they lean in a particular direction. As they line up, the participants should be encouraged to briefly discuss their choices with each other. After that, there will be one or two representatives for each side or team to explain or discuss their opinion about their choices in a whole group discussion. So, what does Take a Stand do? With this activity, learners can recognize important topic-related concepts and issues. Learners can analyze their own perceptions of these concepts and issues. Learners can take an instant position on a topic-related issue. Learners can refine their own opinions based on the small group discussions about the concepts and issues. Learners can evaluate the perceptions and opinions of others and whether this will be useful to know. Learners can synthesize what they've discussed into new ways of perceiving, thinking, and acting. And last, learners can use both kinesthetic or the movement and spatial or visual learning to increase retention.
Each one teach one. Each one teach one is one of the examples of the Take 5 games that help learners wrap it up, reinforce, apply, and practice what they understand and learn. What is each one teach one? Each one teach one. This activity gives learners the opportunity to teach and coach each other. Learners pair up and teach each other what they just learned. Give each other feedback, practice a skill together, coach each other as they practice, and provide mutual support by encouraging each other. The best way for a learner to reinforce, apply, and practice any new skill is to teach it to someone else. Each one teach one use kinesthetic exercise to help learners practice their skills, or they can review in an active hands-on way. According to Richard Batch, we master what we teach. So when students teach each other, they begin to master the material. This activity also gives learners time to use more higher order thinking skills such as evaluation and synthesis that enables to discuss how to use material in a variety of ways and how to combine it with other information in new and different ways. This also allows to exchange concepts and ideas in various ways. Using this game, the each one teach one of take 5 minutes, the students will be active in participation and it can help students to repeat and review what they've learned in a variety of fun and interesting ways. Remember what information are key points for a longer period. Link what they are learning to what they already know. Share the best practices with each other. Brainstorm together, linking additional information to what they've just learned. Explore many ways to make the lesson context practical and useful. Practice a skill to what they've just learned and apply what has been learned in real life scenarios. What does each one teach one do? With each one teach one, expect to see learners demonstrate new skill, give each other feedback about how they are modeling the skill, coach each other as they practice the new information, discuss what they've learned, ask each other questions, encourage each other, and provide mutual support for ongoing learning. With this game, you can reinforce a lot of learning in a little time, especially when you don't have time to play longer games. 5 or 10 minutes is enough time to include a skills practice for a longer discussion period. With more time to talk about what they learn, students deepen their conceptual understanding and begin to apply the information in real life. Furthermore, with Take 5 games, learners wrap up the learning by reinforcing, applying, and practicing what they learn. This activity, the each one teach one, help make the learning stick. That is, learners will remember the information longer, considering that they've had time to use the information in various ways. The game Each One Teach One also save you time that you might have had to spend reteaching the same material or lesson later. In this game, the probability increases that students will use more of what they learn and remember it longer. An example of Each One Teach One is our very own pair mentoring. This concept where the mentor which is the higher year, teaches the mentee, which is the lower year, all the major subjects in accounting. Peer mentoring refreshes the knowledge of the mentor by teaching theories and giving assessment to the mentee. The each one teach one is one of the concepts that brings with a lot of mental satisfaction if you are involved in teaching someone or even you are promoting the concept of spreading the awareness. This concept also is a huge help if the learners will apply this. The learners will not only learn but they can also be a blessing to others through sharing their knowledge and what they have learned.